Don't forget to record.
Oh, good evening and welcome to the Arundel Camera Club live stream for Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. My name is John Milliker and I'm the club president for the 2020-2021 season. The Arundel Camera Club was founded in 1957. It exists to promote the art, science, and education in all aspects and fields of photography. Normally we meet at 7 p.m. every Wednesday evening during the school year in Severna Park, Maryland. However, with the current disruptions, we've decided to continue business as normal in a virtual space, which allows us to protect our members and guests from the current COVID-19 situation. For more information about us, please visit www.arundelcameraclub.org. And before we get to tonight's photography assignment, we have a few upcoming schedule items to cover. And for that, we'll turn it over to our program's chair, Christine Milliker.
Hi. On December 9th is our digital contest. Our theme is leading lines. So send in your 2 monochrome and 2 color digital prints to contests at arundelcamberclub.org. On the 16th is our canceled holiday party. We are not going to have our in-person party, but join us for a conference-style stream with being shared with Facebook. On the 23rd and 30th, we have no meetings due to Christmas and New Year's.
Excellent. What do we have set up, Christine, for tonight?
Oh, for tonight, we have our photo assignment for November, and we had our assignment of baking and cooking. They have been shared on Facebook, and when we get to the photo that won, I will let everyone know.
Excellent. Well, we have everybody up on the screen right now. Okay. I'm going to manage full screen there, and go ahead and when you're ready.
Okay, our very first picture should be shared. And it looks like a bunch of yummy desserts. And this was from Edna Hinky. Can I get input from anyone that wants to share their input on this? Rich, Mike?
Well, it makes me hungry. It also makes me want to go out to eat. Haven't been in a restaurant forever.
That's a few too many desserts for me to eat in one sitting. They look wonderful. Every one of them. Little creme brulee, various kinds of tarts and pies. And,
For a found object that someone took a picture of, seems like it's a pretty good picture. Because normally the lighting's off or whatever in the restaurant. I'm not quite sure how they did this, that it came out looking so good.
Yeah, the lighting is quite good on this. I wish the chocolate off to the left was a little more seeable, but everything else seems to be very viewable. The lighting is great on the desserts themselves. Behind is a bit dark, and some of those white squares is a little bit, maybe if they had been darkened a little bit more, it might be a little less.
Well, and I think there's one more dessert off to the side on the right.
Right.
Which you can't see either. But I might have liked to have seen something like the middle 3 closer.
Yeah, cropping in might be a little bit better. Any other input?
Well, I'm sorry, Christine. I went and grabbed my headphones for the other machine. What was the name of this one?
The name of this one was Edna Hinky, and it's desserts.
Ooh. Ed, are you in chat? Can you tell us about this? Is this a competition? Is this maybe a dessert competition, or is this kind of like a restaurant's display of all the goodies you can get? And if he talks about that in chat, I will update everybody.
Lewis says this is very professional looking over on Facebook.
So it makes me curious if the food is real or if it is like the dessert tray at a restaurant, if it's like fake and they use the same one every night.
Ooh, that's a good thought.
Very true.
We go to a German restaurant and they have the food that's the fake, and it always looks fake. This looks real though.
Like, is that supposed to be ice cream on the dessert on the right?
Is it ice cream or is it all
cream? Maybe
cream.
Yeah, good question.
Could be whipped cream.
I just wonder if he used a flash on his camera and stuck it up in the ceiling, or did he just use available light and just change the color balance on it?
That's a good observation. I think he did. I would say he did, Fred, because you can see the two shadows.
Ed says it was at a restaurant. Lewis says he thinks it's real. Trying to see if Ed has any more to say.
Looking at the vase, I see two lights. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're coming from overhead in the restaurant.
Can you see my mouse? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see the two lights. 1, 2.
So it makes me think they're kind of, the lights are above and to the sides of the subject, kind of pointed inward. It's in the shadows I see from the elevated plates.
It
So
could-
it was available light that was in the restaurant, nothing added then.
Probably not.
It could be that there are spotlights on the desserts to get everyone to want to get one.
It's working.
Show off their extra. Okay. Is any other comments on this before we move on?
Good job, Ed. Did you bring enough for everybody?
This is Thanksgiving ham, also by Ed. That makes me hungry. That pineapple looks really good.
We had turkey for dinner. That ham looks like a great option. I like the way the fruit is glistening and the glaze on the ham is glistening. Looks like it's straight out of the oven.
That looks really good.
What are your thoughts on the fruit in the upper left corner? Should it make sense to slide that out of the way or adjust the background slightly?
I'm okay with it, but
The colors up
Yeah.
there are a bit distracting.
I think it looks yummy. I think it ought to stay right there.
Hey, we're not about the glorious photograph, but about the food.
It's
Yeah.
always where it goes, isn't it?
Lewis says it looks great. A little bit closer might make it a really might be a little bit better and really nice shot.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? Okay, let's move on. This was our winner for this for our contest.
That's
I didn't
cheating.
vote, but I agree.
That's cheating.
Using-
She is so cute.
This is Cleanup Crew by Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lucky shot. What happened was I just used my camera and I had a flash on it. I guess I had the Gary Fong on it and just stuck it up and had it in professional mode and took the shot.
Which Gary Fong is that?
It's a light sphere. The old basic one. I got two of them.
Because he
the only reason
came
I had
out.
two is I lost one and then I found it again.
Is it the original one that looks like a Chinese food container? Because I know there's one that looked like a toilet or a whale tail or something. Is that what he called it?
I got two of them. I'll get it. Hang on. I'll show you.
Okay.
Hang on.
Lewis says this is cute. Really says it all. I love the whipped cream on her face and in her hair.
It's like a superpower using all that cuteness.
I'm gonna go over to our toggle view and see if Fred can show us what he used.
Here we go.
Oh,
I used this.
yeah, that's kind of the old style, but it's got the accordion. That's pretty cool.
And then
What is it?
This one, this is the Gary Fong. Okay, this is used when you have a ceiling, a white ceiling, and the ceiling's not that big. You use this without this thing. Okay, and then what you do is if your lens is pretty long, you put it like this. Okay, if you can see that, and I see use that. Then if you want to color balance it, use this. If you want to, like I used it like this when I shoot runway models. When I'm doing runway, and I bring it down to like 38K, and that's what this does. And then you have another adapter, which I don't have it. It's in another bag, and it goes over and it makes it like a grid, but then the light will spill out. So you're supposed to buy the special one for it, but all I do is just put aluminum foil around it and then put the grid so I can make it a spotlight.
Interesting.
But this, and all you do with this thing in a house, especially when you're shooting this, is just put it on 800 ISO, I guess, and put it on professional mode, and you can't miss.
Very cool. Thank you, Fred.
Was that your granddaughter?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I have 2 of them.
Any other thoughts before we move on? She looks all full of mischief.
Is that mashed potato or is that icing?
It's cream. It's
Whipped cream?
whipped cream. That's
Ooh.
what it is. That's what it is. Whipped cream. My wife was doing one went to one and one with the other, and actually I had 3, but 2 of them were standing there, and one got one and one got the other.
She's like grinning, my prize, yum. This is from Elaine, carrots, tomatoes, and peas.
We need to switch off of Fred.
Oh, here.
Yeah, for the stream I have the Chris's Lightroom up. But the interesting part about this we're using new conference software out there for everybody that is joining us. The interesting part about this software is you can choose who you want to bring up and not bring up. But for the stream, we have Elaine's photo right up in front and center.
I like this. It's well organized. Very colorful.
It's very nice.
Nicely done. The gold on the edge of the plate is really nice too.
But the theme is baking and cooking. So hopefully,
yeah, she wasn't sure if this matched, so she told me to take it out if I wanted to.
It matches for me as long as she either baked or cooked it into something tasty, or she did like that.
I mean, you could cook it into a salad.
Mm-hmm.
I like the pinwheel.
Yeah, nicely.
It's a very nice arrangement of the food, and you got the plate right in the center. I wonder if a square crop would be more appropriate for this one.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's almost a square, but I guess it's an 8x10 maybe. But I love the water drips on the tomatoes too.
Elaine, try a square 1-to-1 crop. There used to be an old group on Christine, do you remember this? It was an old group on Flickr called Squircle. And it was circles that were in a square crop, and it was the coolest, most interesting stuff. And that Paul has a good idea with that. Yeah, it'd be something like that.
Just showing what it would look like. And yeah, that looks really good with the plate just centered right. Any other comments before we move on?
Susan says it's objects placed in very good symmetry, and I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's great. You need that crop for Instagram, and if it went on Instagram, it'd be perfect.
Yeah. This is.
Before we go forward, I think Lewis talked about this one here. He said he would like to see a little bit more saturation.
Yeah.
I got a question. I'm on full screen. Is that me doing it or are you doing it?
That's you, Fred. We do have the option to make you follow what we're showing and choosing. If we want to try that, we can. But I figure that you can click on. There are 4 buttons on the bottom right-hand corner that will show everybody, and then you can click on whichever screen you would like to see larger, whether it's Christine's screen share of Lightroom or someone else.
Yeah. When Fred was talking, I was able to click to him and then click back.
Very cool.
I don't quite understand that one. All I see on this one is 6 screens.
But if you click on what you want to see full screen, that one will go full screen. So if you click on Elaine's,
I see.
there you go.
Click on the one with the C.
Yeah,
That's
how
Christine.
about the picture? How about the picture one that we're looking at? Huh?
That'll work.
The C will do it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments on this? Okay.
Very nice, Elaine.
Move on. There we go. The next one is Greeman Bakery Shop, also by Fred.
Ooh. Fred, tell us about this place.
That was shot with my cell phone. Okay. And I was in Germany, of course. And I just stuck it up there and took a picture and got my brooch. And you see that the woman with the sweater with back straight at, she was picking up the brooch. Okay. And that's what they like in Germany. What they like to eat in the morning. So every morning I go up there and get 10 brötchen. Okay, and the ones on the bottom row are nothing but different type of brötchen. It's like a French bread, but and then of course pastries everywhere in the front, and then bread up on top.
I really like that you included the clock in the top right. It kind of helps add to the morning feel of this picture.
Ooh, good comment.
I took several pictures, and I just chose that one out of all of them.
It looks really good. I love the activity of the ladies behind the counter picking everyone's bread up for them.
Yeah, later on, what happened is, with COVID, they ended up about a month, a couple weeks after this, they started to put up all the front barriers in front of it, and it wasn't as pretty.
I bet.
But it was only like maybe 2 weeks more when that came up. When the news came out that I wasn't coming home for a while, that's what happened.
Wow. It's hard getting people talking to look somewhat natural, and I don't know if that's lucky or you just kind of spray and prayed and picked the best one, but she's in a good mouth position.
Well, she's asking somebody for their money, okay, and my German isn't that good, but she's getting the money, and I was waiting in line, and everybody's just running back and forth, and it was probably a Saturday, as many people are in there.
Wow.
Any other comments? Okay, let's move on to the
Very
next
nice,
one.
Fred.
Yeah, very
Thank
nice.
you.
Feels like I'm there. I can almost smell the bread baking.
This one is Richard's, and it is Zach making scones.
Yes, Shirley had the two grandsons over to give them baking lessons. So Zach is here. He's the oldest, making scones. He's loving his haircut. He doesn't have to get his haircut during the, not going to the barber and all of that. But he made the scones. There's 3 pictures here. The second grandson is in the next one, I think.
We'll get to them. I don't know what order they're in.
So these are just, they were taken in August sometime, I think. And so they were just on the kitchen table. They were learning about leavening agents and making different kinds of baked goods.
Oh, wow.
This is well done. I like how concentrated he seems to be on making his scone just the right size.
Now you realize the photo challenge was for November, right?
Yes, I realize that. But, Fred just showed us one that was taken earlier, and I went with Fred.
Good point.
It was.
If we disqualify Fred, who wins?
Oh, I'm sure his granddaughter was a recent photo.
No, it wasn't. I'm not going to lie. That was taken last year.
Oh.
Okay, so I didn't know that, but you can disqualify mine because of that. Because I didn't know.
I'm teasing.
No, serious business. I didn't mean to cheat.
I find these, you make the thing, and to me, it's to go through my photos and find something that's appropriate. I'm not into manufacturing photos. Nothing was going on during November that I could have taken ordinary pictures of food, but I just thought the grandkids doing their own baking was much more interesting. And they are what they are.
I think they're appropriate. They work very well. And they're the action of doing the cooking, which and baking, which is awesome.
They're just phone photos, taken walking around while they're doing it.
Any other thoughts?
I have a question about this streaming. Can I mute and then somehow message? I'm looking around.
Yes.
Here.
There's a message thing way over on the far left thing. It says open, close, chat.
Hang on.
And it'll bring up a window
Oh,
where you can message.
Okay. Goodbye, because there's noise background. I found it. Thanks.
Okay.
Welcome, Louis.
Any other comments on this before we move on? Okay, let's move on to the next one. I think this next one is your
This
other
is grandson number 2, who's making a chocolate cake basically, and he's adding milk to the bowl.
Yeah, it's adding milk to the brownies.
Brownies.
Ooh.
So this one's good, but it's not as good as the previous one. But what I like about this one is you can see more of the face.
Yeah, neither one of them right now can you see much of the face with the long hair.
Yep.
I like this because brownies.
Well, and I'm actually surprised. I was just looking at it for a phone photo that it actually, with the bright window outside, that it actually picked up the colors out there.
Yeah, the window's not blown out.
Yeah, I didn't think about that when I was taking them.
Yeah, that is really nice. The different angles on this one, like the wall and the chair and the window, are a bit distracting to me for photo composition, but I love what the main part of the photo is, and he's straight, so that's the important part.
One
I
thing
like the-
too, because it's a photo from a phone, is the white balance is pretty good. You don't get because you had the light, which is probably about 48 Kelvin, and then outside it's going to be 55, and it's not blue, so it did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it did. I hadn't thought about it until I see it here and think about it. That's one of the things the Camera Club does well, is make you think about your photos a little more.
Yeah. Over on Facebook, Susan says, I think it's great that boys are interested in being involved in baking.
Susan, brownies.
Oh yeah, they like it.
You can
They
show
like
us.
doing
You can
that.
show
They
us
like
basket
food.
weaving. If it's got chocolate and brownies, we're all for it.
They like cooking and food in general.
I like the concentration. Maybe a little tighter crop.
Yeah,
And just kind of hone in on that concentration.
yeah.
But I like it a lot.
That would be just go right essentially to the top of his head. I wouldn't even have to have the whole bowl in.
Yeah.
Just enough to see what it is.
Susan said, pouring the milk without holding the spoon over the bowl. I guess she
It's
thinks
close.
That's how you learn how to cook. You do it the wrong way, and then you learn.
I didn't submit the one of the aftermath, which is just the table.
That probably was a mess.
Okay. Next up.
This is my favorite. This is called Eating Your Homework.
Yeah.
They look like they're really enjoying their brownies.
Yeah, they were both eating brownies. I think the scones were a little disappointing to Zach because they weren't as sweet as he wanted them to be. But that's actually their baking instructions in front of them.
It still shows how wonderful iPhones or whatever your phone is
It's an
have
Android,
gotten,
but
have gotten and taken photos. The color balance is good.
yeah.
Focus, depth of field is good. But I like this photo with the two of them enjoying the mess of the baking around the edges.
Yeah, I've got one that I didn't submit, which is just a table. There's flour everywhere.
Yeah, that's part of baking, isn't it? Making,
That's right.
Getting flour everywhere.
I just liked eating your homework a little better.
Over on Facebook, I believe this is to the previous one. Julie says he looks straight, but not the wall behind him. And then
Oh, yeah.
Bob says, I like just wave in the hair.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, something I was thinking about. I don't know what other people are thinking, but I like the idea of maybe getting a little lower, Rich. And not only would you get at their eye level, but the perspective craziness wouldn't be as pronounced.
Yeah.
Just a thought. But I mean, I like these the way they are too.
Yeah, these are not the kind of photos that I spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to do better. And so this is
right.
An unusual, to actually show to people other than grandmothers and aunts and uncles and mothers and fathers who are going to ooh and awe no matter how good or bad the photo is.
Very nice.
Mary Lou was asking about seeing the whole photo, so I tried to shrink it down a little bit. So I guess the
Yeah.
bottom was cut off just a little bit.
The bottom does get cut off on some of them, just a little when you show them.
Okay.
Thanks
Any
for
other
the comments.
comments? Okay, this next one is Susan Weber's, and it's called My Favorite Cookies.
Ooh,
I love the blue,
yeah.
although it's a bit overwhelming with the darker colored bowls. The chocolate chips kind of get eaten up a little bit by the darkness, but blue's my favorite color, so I will always like blue.
But the chips look a little cool to me too, right?
Yeah.
Look cool on your screen.
The eggs kind of look like a snowman right in the middle with the beaters as its arms.
Don't give him any ideas. Susan and Bob are going to make an egg snowman with pretzel arms and chocolate chip eyes and buttons. In fact, I want to see that.
But
I think
it's still, the white balance looks all right. So
Yeah,
it's
I
not
think
all
there's-
that blue there. It's fine.
There's probably just some reflection off of the bowls that's giving the blue tinge. You know,
Yeah.
from the blue up to the glass, reflected back to make the chips a little bit bluish, but they look fine to me.
Yeah, the light is off to the right, it looks like, by the way the bowls are
Yeah.
reflected onto the table and stuff. It might look, I kind of like it, but I'd like it even better if the bowl on the right wasn't reflected down onto the chocolate chips. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, maybe a larger source of light or light from both sides, because yeah, I do find those. I would love to see just a completely clean background, because I think it would make the subjects pop a lot better.
Susan asks, can anyone tell me which ingredient is not displayed here?
Milk?
Mary Lou said milk.
Salt.
Walnuts.
I was thinking nuts, pecans or walnuts. Or raisins if you wanted to add raisins. Sometimes I like those in this type of cookie.
Oh, is this a cookie? What's the name of this?
This is my favorite cookie.
My favorite cookie.
So she's getting ready to bake some cookies.
Did she say which type of cookie?
Susan says, nope, standard Toll House cookies. So it's not milk.
Love? Is it love, Susan?
Julie says vanilla. And Elaine says, now you've done it. I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. I guess that's towards
To
Bob.
me, to be about the snowman.
Susan confirms that it's vanilla extract. And Jackie had said vanilla. So there we go. So vanilla is what's missing from this photo. That would have been hard to try to figure out how to put in. Maybe a teaspoon off to the side of the bowl of the chocolate chips, maybe?
Or make a little divot in the flour.
Or with the butter.
Yeah.
Usually you want to keep the liquid things together. Any other comments? Okay.
Christine, before we go on, I forgot to make an announcement, so I'm going to take a couple seconds here and see if everything works out here. Does this stuff work? Hello, testing. Come on. Oh, come on. The thing's not going to work, is it? I got to turn off my camera and turn back on my camera. There we go. If anybody didn't see these, Michelle had contacted me and said, hey, we've got some people asking about the 2020 ornament. And honestly, I was not going to make a 2020 ornament this year. But after a few hours, I came up with this design here. And Michelle has been kind of spearheading getting these shared out. If you are interested in your own 2020 Arundel Camera Club ornament, as you know, we've been doing this for a couple years now. The price is $7 each. It includes the PayPal fees and shipping costs, and anything on top of that will go back to the club. But everything minus those fees and shipping costs will go to the club. There will also be a little bit of ribbon that will come with it. It won't be attached for you, because I think she's going to try to get these through in first class mail if she can. But if you're interested in these, Michelle will be sending another email out and sending another Facebook message thingamabob out. Anybody that's interested, please contact her. We are doing these, we are making these specifically every order per order. And I believe our cutoff is going to be the holiday party stream. But if you're interested in that, check your email or Facebook, and I believe Michelle is going to send it out again. So thank you for letting me interrupt with you there, Chris. Back to you.
Okay, this next one is Oatmeal Raisin Cookie by Mike.
Where's the
So,
raisins?
I tried to get a different perspective on baking, the cookies perspective. Now I realize how dirty my oven was. There was another version of the photo where I'm looking through the window at the cookies, but because the window is so dirty, it just wasn't very good. I thought it was more distracting than useful. And the camera is in the oven with the cookies.
Yeah, someone was asking that on the stream on the Facebook messages. How did he do this?
This is how Alton Brown got his start.
It was with a wide angle lens.
But Alton Brown, with his Good Eats show that he started, however many years ago, they always had an oven cam or a refrigerator cam or things like that. But that's what this reminds me of right away. It's great.
Looks yummy too.
I think it's a brilliant idea, Mike, and excellent choice in cookies. I'm wondering if the lighting here doesn't quite convey the look of baking, though. I don't know quite what.
I assume the
It's
oven
too
is
bright or
cold at that
something.
point.
So yeah, there's no glow from the oven. That's true. It's only lit by the oven light.
Sure. And then I feel like maybe some sort of perspective transformation maybe would straighten up some of the lines. I'm not sure what to do with that.
It looks like the back wall is perfectly vertical.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would.
I just had to pick one and go with it when I straightened it. Because when I straightened multiple, it just went off. Didn't go the way I expected.
I think I would have liked your looking through in the window, even though it was dirty, clean it, and then take a picture. That would have been great with you looking at your cookies in there.
That would have been
Well,
cool.
I thought about photoshopping it, but too much trouble.
Yeah, you have the chair outside instead. It looks like someone was sitting there watching things bake.
It would ruin the cookies, but maybe a little bit of a torch on top of them, give them that kind of brown, crisp look on top of them. Because I agree, they kind of look like they're not entirely done yet. But then usually with food photography, you've got to ruin the food in order to make it look how you want it to look.
No, these got eaten.
That's good.
Julie is asking if the light was inside the oven too.
Yeah, the light is the oven light. I didn't put any photography lighting in there. It's just the light from inside the oven.
Wow.
Very cool. Any other comments before we move on?
Mary Lou asked, what focal length was that, Mike?
I don't know.
Got to be
I was
wide.
probably taken with my 7 to 14 inch.
Do you have an EXIF on that?
That's what I was
Probably.
looking.
Go all the way down the right.
It's f9, 0.8 seconds, ISO 400, 8 millimeter.
8 millimeter. Okay.
There you go. So I was taken with my 7 to 14 millimeter.
Any other comments? This is Layers by Julie Bennett.
Ooh, lasagna.
That looks really good. I'm not sure. I would have liked it better if the bottom dish wasn't cut off, I think. But
I don't know if the bottom dish bugs me or the hand. I think the hand needs be a little bit more, either more or less prominent in the image.
it all looks good, though.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very balanced overall. I feel like you put it on a balance scale and it would not tip over.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite pictures of actual baking, and all the pictures submitted. But I do kind of agree. The hand, I debate whether it should be there at all or more prominent. I don't know. Everything else is so balanced that I don't think I want it more prominent.
Yeah. Maybe back off and just have the spoon sticking in. But yeah, I liked this one because it was the active act of cooking.
Although if we get picky, now I see a little bit of a strainer or something in the upper right corner. But
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that till just now.
Any other comments?
Julie's-
Bennett, Julie says this was handheld.
And the camera using a timer.
Okay, looks really good.
On your screen, Chris, is it a little? It looks like it could use a little bit of saturation. Maybe just a goose of saturation.
Yeah, it looks a little bit dim.
Over on the
The
stream,
red
it looks a little
sauce,
better.
A little redder.
Yeah, the stream looks a little bit better though.
Mary Lou says this is very sharp for being handheld. It is. It looks really good though. You can see where the spaghetti sauce splattered out and went everywhere too. That's awesome.
I think you know what? I think what makes this image though is that loose noodle.
That noodle hanging down from the edge. I like that too. Looks like you're almost done putting it all together. There's not much cheese left and maybe a couple more noodles left. Okay.
Susan likes it a little bit being cut off from each bowl. She thinks that's good. Compensates. If only one bowl was cut off, it wouldn't be so good. Absolutely.
That's true.
Very nice.
This next one is Mediterranean mushroom, also by Elaine. Looks really good.
I have no idea what that is.
I think there's a mushroom in the
mushroom
center
cat?
with balsamic vinegar on it with tomatoes and looks like feta cheese and spinach underneath. Looks really good to me.
The perspective really fooled me when it first came up. It looked like a big ball, but it's all flat out on a plate, I think.
Yeah.
Just the way the tomatoes are sitting. It's nice.
Might be some rice underneath it. I see.
Oh, what do they call it? Pilaf? Pilaf rice?
I just see this here and these here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple up here too. Looks really good though.
I didn't see the mushroom.
Oh, we lost somebody.
If you look here, there's a rim here, and you can see the mushroom and then the striations of the mushroom cap right here.
Paul's back. Want to finish that thought, bud? Oh, I think we lost him again. And he's back.
Thanks. I was saying I didn't even notice it was a mushroom. You said it was a mushroom.
Yeah, something's funky with your audio, Paul.
I thought that was Fred.
Elaine says that this is her favorite portobello mushroom dish at her favorite restaurant. Yes, rice all in a white dish.
Ooh.
Sounds really good to me.
Yeah.
I wish the tomato was just a little more bright, but you have to go with the tomato you're given. But yeah.
That's a good life lesson. Have to go with the tomato you've been given.
Thanks, dear. Any other comments? Okay, let's move on. We have Chop Chop by Julie Bennett. There we go. Pork chops. Looks really good. You can see them sizzling underneath as they're being cooked.
Good sear.
Yeah.
I like the tongs up top. Just wish they were a little bit more prominent in the image.
Yeah. The angle of the pork chops is nice. The tongs, if you could see the whole side of one side, I think it would be a little bit better.
Any other thoughts?
No, I like it. It's close up. Maybe a little more of the tongs, but I like the color, the golden brown. To me, it's appetizing.
I like the angle of the light, which is probably the light under her microwave or under her fume hood over the stove. And it's just probably so simple, but it looks so good.
Julie says, I wish I could have captured the sound. Probably the sizzling of the pork chops in the skillet. Can imagine it. Any other comments? Okay.
Julie said she used her iPhone for that one.
Oh, cool. And then this is Julie, hear the sizzle.
There's pancakes.
Looks like it's pancakes being poured.
Ooh.
I like the blurriness of the batter going down. The bottom seems to be, I wish the drip at the bottom, or I can't quite tell where the focus is. But it makes me hungry thinking of pancakes. Any other comments on this?
I feel like something more needs to be sharp. I like the motion and the batter actually falling, but I feel like the batter at the base should be sharp, or the batter at the top should be sharp. I don't know.
It looks like focal point is up top, but yeah, there's definitely motion blur in play too.
I don't mind the motion blur. I just wish either more at the top or more at the bottom were in focus, or a little bit of each.
That's a very creative idea.
I love the curvature of the red bowl. I just wish there was the curvature of like a griddle on the bottom right to kind of complement that. But I just pouring and plopping into a black void. Yeah, I agree with Mike. There's something needs to be in there as well.
Julie says these are homemade wheat pancakes using her iPhone on a timer to take it.
So is there some editing done here? Like, it's a very black background, and I can't quite tell if the bowl edge is photoshopped. It looks like it's possibly a little photoshopped.
I don't.
I see some lightness and kind of a rectangular going down into the black, going across the bubble. I don't know if that's just a streaming artifact from Christine's computer to my computer in the studio, but I'm not sure.
I like the sense of motion from the upper left, just where it's coming in. That's the part that's mostly in focus, but you can tell that it's actually pouring all the way out of the bowl. It's not a puddle in the bowl pouring out. It just has a full motion all the way. Yeah, and I think that if it weren't all black background, you might get a little better sense of that.
Julie says the pan had a brown ring, so she cleaned that up a little bit.
Might have been better to leave that in there, Julie. I'm not sure. But it needs something more on the bottom, I think. But it's very appetizing.
Yeah.
Our next photo, this is Bob's, and it's baking flour. I think anyone in the group would know this was yours, Bob.
You make it a little smaller yet?
That's about as small as I can make it.
Okay. Still hits the bottom, but I think everything's there.
Go up to your top left, Christine, and you're going to go to your fit.
Okay, we can see it there.
No, above the thumbnail. Click it again. Fit. Now go to your arrows on the top, the right hand side. You should be able to change that if you'd like. Okay. Well, we'll just keep this like this.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, you should be able to hit the F key as well, and it will.
Here.
It shouldn't take it too
does
far.
cut off a little, but
yeah,
nothing
it does
important.
still. That might be a kind of streaming screen share thing.
Bob says baking flour is supposed to be a pun, but my graphic designer's son, Colin in Brooklyn, didn't get it. He said there were too many metal steps to go through.
I just got the pun only because he told me it was a pun.
To get the joke, did anyone else get the joke?
Nope, I don't know. But it's definitely a Bob image.
Right.
I think I would have liked I like the shadows a little distracting on the right.
Yeah.
But
the shadow over
it's
here.
It's really creative. And did he do this in camera or Photoshop? Because that's a whole lot of measuring spoons. I mean,
I'm sure he'll let us know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Bob, do we have a problem? Do we collect too many measuring spoons? I don't know. They look too perfectly lined up. That's gotta be cloned in.
Yeah, but it's a bunch of different
Sizes.
kitchen utensils under them.
Yeah.
But the shadows inside the little bowl, they look like they come from different directions.
Yeah. Jackie says me in the chat. Is she saying she collects way too many measuring spoons?
I think she's saying
Or
she got the joke.
pun.
Oh, she got the pun.
Elaine says she has to think on this one. Susan says it's 2 images with a cell phone.
So let me guess. All the big utensils and then the measuring cups with maybe on an easily cleaned background and then copied to each intersection. Interesting.
I like it. It's interesting,
but I agree with Mike with the fact that the shadows are really they're really distracting, and Bob and Susan both do a lot of these amazing things. But when you get to these weird kind of conceptual kind of things, I think just flooding the area with light really kind of helps get that point across. And I think here
it
would
looks
be
like there's two lights on the utensils, but there's not a similar shadow on the measuring spoon.
Yeah.
So I feel like I see Bob's shadow. I feel like that is Bob's shadow on the right, like hovering over the spatulas, taking the picture.
Maybe.
It's a ghost.
one of the measuring cups, the other of the big utensils, measuring cups very copied.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Lou says strange measuring cups.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very creative.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. This is Michelle's, and it is takeout.
Ooh.
I didn't think someone made that. That looks too good.
Someone made it.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Michelle?
Go to fit. Christine.
Ah,
Go to fit
Sorry.
above your navigation. There you go. There you go.
a nice 3 prominent prawn right up front.
Mm-hmm.
Colors look good. They look juicy.
Very shallow depth of field, but it completely works because all 3 of them are in focus.
Yeah, I like the way the 3 shrimp and then the lettuce bed and looks yummy.
Yeah, it looks very appetizing indeed. I like it.
And I like
Seems like it belongs in a menu, a printed menu or something for a restaurant.
Yeah. And I like the
For a nice
blurred
restaurant.
outer edges too. The way she vignetted it.
vignetted. Yeah, I think the vignette is good.
I just saw that we have some chats from Lou over in the conference stream. I'm sorry, Lou. I wasn't. That's on my laptop, which is a lot smaller. Let's see. He says he likes this one a lot. The focus is good and brings your eye around right to the shrimp.
I even like the few like onions and stuff down at the bottom. It just helps pull your eye up into the shrimp.
And the vignetting's perfect.
Maybe not the little drip right here, but the rest of it's really good. Any other comments on this before we move on?
That could have been a winner, but there was no cute kid eating them.
No cute kid leaning over it. This is stir fry by Mike.
You can tell I went way out of my way to make these. That was dinner. I'm like, those colors look nice.
They
I
do.
snapped an iPhone photo, and I think it was iPhone, and that was it.
They do. I like the colors. I think that's what this. In addition to looking delicious, it's the colors that make it.
Good color, good moisture on the food.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, the nice browning of the chicken contrasts well with the green of the green beans.
Didn't even have to put glycerin on to fix the food to make it shiny. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Elaine says she likes this one.
Lewis says string beans look great. Great color.
thanks, Lewis. Thanks.
And they complement perfectly. They have brown and green. Ooh. And the ring of the black pan. I can't help but to think a straight down shot in a square circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I could have held the phone directly over the hot pan.
It's
I
only
got that shot. It would have worked. I could have done that.
It's only an
I
Apple
wasn't- I
product. You're
wasn't
supposed to
thinking.
replace it every weekend anyway, aren't you?
Yeah. But you're right. That would have been nice.
Julie says she's glad she had dinner tonight.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry again.
I was going to say, is the stream making everyone hungry? Any other comments before we move on? This is Michelle's Rare. I like this. The knife with the contrasting steak. You can see the texture of the steak underneath.
Yeah, nice tenderizing marks or whatever that is.
The shininess of the knife with the shininess of the steak. Nice contrast.
I'm looking at the stream feed. Okay, it looks better. It looks more red on the stream feed, which looks good. On my broadcast feed, it's a little bit, it's not as red, and it kind of almost looks like pork, but yeah, that's nice.
Over on the stream, Mike, this was asked on your last image. Did you deliberately separate the beans and the chicken to balance the image? See there?
Oh, nope. I see an empty chair. He
Stepped away.
ran off for a little bit.
Okay. And Elaine said her Chinese dishes never look that good cooked in the wok. And then Elaine says she loves this. It made her hungry. I don't like my steak this rare. But
Lewis says he likes this abstract.
it is very abstract.
That looks to me like uncooked steak, but I really like the knife and the close up. It's a little bit blown out on the far right corner, but I like the way it goes to the brightness on the rest of it, and just shows details of the structure of the knife. I just think that's cool.
Yeah. Maybe if this was cooked and then cut, it might be a little bit more appetizing.
Yeah. Mary Lou says she likes this one.
And Lewis says a little more focus in the upper left.
Yeah, I can right in here.
Well, the upper right's not quite.
Yeah.
The focus is mostly in the middle.
It almost looks like she might have added like a
Blur.
vignette blur effect to it, which is great. It pulls you into the center where you want to be anyway. That's nice.
I think this would also work for leading lines. What do you think?
I could see that.
Yeah.
You have the line of the knife and the lines of the steak.
Having a pat of butter at the end of that, or a peppercorn at the end of that knife.
Or even down on top of the fat over here in the bottom corner.
Well, that could be interesting if you added some peppercorns or some salt on there.
Spice it up a little bit. Literally.
Mary Lou says she likes this one in chat.
Okay. This next one is Susan. Please defrost. Looks like she was getting ready to cook her turkey and hoping it defrosted on time. Getting ready to cook. I guess that's the first step in cooking.
It's not as appetizing as some of the photos.
No, which is probably why this one didn't get as many votes. But
It's a good documentary photo.
Right.
The potential of this photo could take you a long way.
Kudos on the clean fridge, though.
Any other comments? I liked the name of this, and I liked the concept, but the cooked food looks so much better. Now, this one is also Mike Thomas, Thanksgiving. There's your turkey and your yams with marshmallows and your filling. Looks really good.
What time did you guys eat dinner, Mike?
He's not there. Oh no, he's back.
Your mic's muted, Mike.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's all going now. It's we like the last of it, turkey pot pie tonight. But yeah, that was just before serving. The whole meal sitting there.
At 1:13 in the afternoon. You guys early Thanksgiving eaters?
Yeah,
We are.
yeah,
Cool.
because my father-in-law works shift work his entire life, so he eats like noon and then goes to bed like 3.
Ooh. My parents are the same way. We always have to eat at 2. Only on
Yeah,
Thanksgiving for some reason, though.
So I tried pictures of just the turkey, which came out nicely, but I didn't think they were that exciting. And so here I was just trying to get an ensemble of different things, and I loved the browning on the marshmallows. So that was what attracted me to this image.
That would probably be a good abstract, just focusing in on
Right.
the browning of the marshmallows.
I could see Christine putting some little HO scale people on the marshmallows.
Climbing my camping set with like the one with the flag.
Very tasty looking. That turkey looks amazing.
It does. Over for the last one, Susan said that for the turkey that it was not very creative, but shooting inside the refrigerator meant she didn't have to play with the lighting.
That's true.
Yep.
Ask Mike that question again from the stream.
Oh, the Mike for the one for this one. We had a question: did you deliberately separate the beans and the chicken to balance the image?
No, I cooked the chicken first, and then I pushed the chicken to the side and threw my beans in there. The beans were cooked separately, and I threw them in there to mix all the sauce up with them. So no, I didn't deliberately do it just for the photo.
Okay. Any other comments on Thanksgiving? I even like how the knobs are on the front of the stove here, just leading your eye in that diagonal. Okay. This one's mine, and it's biscuits. We had the biscuits lined up, ready to go in the oven. And
Who cooked biscuits this year?
Your
You
mother
had to cook it. We were fortunate enough to spend it with my parents, and my mother. She always burns the bottoms of the biscuits. So when Thanksgiving's done, when she's got a bread knife sawing the black part off these biscuits out in the kitchen. And they weren't burnt this time, so it had to be you.
No, it was actually
Really?
your mom.
Wow.
She watched them this year.
But when she watches this broadcast, she will know what you said.
No, she won't watch this. It's a family joke. That and when the smoke alarm goes off, dinner's ready as well.
That's what you say when I cook.
Anyway, that's very nice. Now I want biscuits again.
My eye is drawn to this bright spot at the very top
The foil.
center
Oh, the
of
foil.
the foil. I want my eye to be drawn to the lighter biscuit right up front, but
Yeah.
it's hard with that reflective foil in the picture.
Is there more of that biscuit up front, Christine? Is it getting cut off? Because if you had the entirety of the no, you don't. If you had the entirety of the biscuit, it could have probably competed with that bright spot.
I was trying to line up the 6 biscuits when I was taking the shot, so
Gotcha.
I think I cut it off. Any other comments before I move on?
Did you take one when they were done?
I did not.
Oh,
Just ate them.
That's right.
We ate them. They were the last thing done, so we were all sitting at the table waiting for the biscuits. And this is my turkey shot. It was already sliced with the salt and pepper spread over it, and I just like the diagonals, and I'm a breast person myself, so for
Nice
turkey.
window light.
Yeah, that was window light.
It's a very shallow depth of field, it looks like.
Me and my macro.
It's nice. It's nice.
Lewis says he likes a little closer be a good abstract.
Since the topic was cooking, I wanted people to know what it was, so
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
stayed out a little bit.
It looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah,
it.
looks
It's
real
nice and juicy, and the light's in the right place. It's up front, closest to us, so you can see the turkey. You can tell what it is, and it's got a nice pattern the way it's laid out there.
Was that window light, Christine?
That was window light.
Yeah.
And the overhead light was on too, but I'm sure that it was right under the window when I took it.
That's a lot better slicing than I've ever done.
Mm.
His dad is really good at slicing things like that.
I had a cousin who could slice a turkey and essentially put it back together all sliced.
Ooh,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
that is cool.
Yeah. Then my last one is my filling balls.
It looks a little orange to me. Is that just me? Maybe it's because it's stuffing and that's the right
It was
color.
in the oven, so I think it was the oven light, and I didn't color adjust it. I should have.
Yeah. Well, you can tell the focus is right there on that center ball.
Right.
I mean, and I don't have an issue with that. Maybe a little bit on the ball behind it, but all the other ones around it are out. So your focus and attention's on that middle ball. I kind of like it.
I played around with where to focus, and that was my favorite spot for it.
I think if you'd focused on anything closer to us, you would have had to have more depth of field.
Yeah, I as I said, I tried here, I tried back here, and the middle one being in focus was the one I liked. So I played around with it, and this was also ISO 1600, and it was with my 24 to 70, and this was on 70 millimeters, so an f8. So
Susan says she was hoping they were crab cakes. Me too, Susan.
This was Thanksgiving Day, so I got all my shots as we were making dinner.
You did a great job with that I see an eighth of a second.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to hold it. It was I guess you had a lens that had or the camera that had anti-shake in it, or
Yeah.
stabilization.
I have the whatever Nikon's version of image stabilization.
Christine, explain what a stuffing ball is.
It's filling like you would stuff inside the turkey, but my family has always made them into balls so that you get more crunchy, because that's always been the part my family fights over. So we bake them into balls about the size of a golf ball and bake them.
I think that image would be really cool if you could sort of put a elliptical kind of oval on it, and then cut off the top and the foil in that bottom and make it kind of like in an oval with a big vignette around it. So you saw the middle one and part of all the others. I think it would be really cool.
If I was shooting down on it and made a circle out of them.
Well, they're kind of oval shape in the perspective that you have.
Yeah.
And so just sort of put an oval around it, vignette it down to where you had an oval in a rectangle. But the little bit distracted by the foil again on the right, and whatever it is, the lid or something on the bottom right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the oven
it's
door.
lovely the way it is. I'm just trying to abstract it down to just those balls.
Any other comments before we move on? Okay, this is Thanksgiving Turkey by Ed Nahinky.
Is that deep fried turkey?
Looks like it's a deep fried turkey.
Ooh.
It's a little.
That is a pretty turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Not thrilled with the background, but that turkey's gorgeous.
It's got a lot of motion blur issue, though, looks like.
Yeah, it looks a little bit out of focus or blur or something. but it still looks really good.
Mhm.
Ed says it's a deep fried turkey.
Ooh.
Yeah. And his house didn't burn down or anything. There was no explosion.
It wasn't frozen when he stuck it in the oil.
That looks good. I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah. Outdoors.
Yeah. With a fire extinguisher. Or two.
Looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Check the shutter speed on that. Maybe that's what caused it. Or swinging back and forth.
ISO
1/8.
100, 70 millimeter, f4.
1/8.
1/8.
1/8. That's what caused it.
Yeah. Especially 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Oh.
agree that if the background was a little bit different, and if you would have cranked that ISO up a little bit, Ed, to get that shutter speed up at least to about maybe 100th of a second, you might have gotten away with 50th of a second. But that's nice.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I've got to say, so far, this is the one that's made me the hungriest.
It's up there.
This is
That's it right there.
Bacon by Elaine.
Bacon.
That competes with cuteness.
Yeah.
It sure does. I think it just beat it.
I voted for this one because who can beat sizzling bacon? And that's what this photo says.
It's bacon.
I don't mind that the two in the back are out of focus, but I do mind that forward edge of the bacon is not exactly sharp. I think if the focus was a little bit further forward, it would have really made the whole shot.
The only problem I have with it, it's not on my table. That's
Ooh.
the problem.
Looks really good.
I love the colors and the juiciness and
The
the
bubbles.
shininess. Yeah, the bubbles. But you're right. A little more sharpness would have sent it
How about-
over the top.
How about an egg to go with it too?
Ooh, I like that idea.
Yeah. Over easy or sunny side up?
Sunny side up for aesthetics, right?
Yeah, that'd
Yep.
be great. That'd
Over
be
easy when you're not when nobody's taking photographs of it.
great.
Whose was this?
This was Elaine's.
Nice
It's
shot,
good.
Elaine.
It's nice. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to clean your camera lens from all that bacon splatter?
Bacon splatter is probably drooling.
Oh, might it be?
My guess is this was a cell phone shot because there's no metadata. But I could be wrong.
I have to try that sometime when we're having bacon. Get my phone out.
Get the sizzling.
And
We did
see.
that.
I've not tried these things, so
We did that at camping once when we went camping to Spruce Knob. Not this year, but the year before. Cheryl had a bunch of thick cut bacon, and it was mesmerizing seeing this stuff just sit there and bubble. And I think we did some slow-mo video or something of it. But it's so mesmerizing.
Elaine says she didn't worry about the splatter.
She did
She
worry
did.
She
about the
did
splatter.
worry about the splatter. Sorry. Did worry about the splatter.
Well, that's when you lick the lens and then you clean the lens off.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. This is Pie Bird by Debbie Chamberlain.
Pie bird. I've seen these. I know how they're supposed to work. You put them in the middle of a pie and it lets steam out, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's focus on the bird, and the spoons are nicely bokeh. Background out of
Nicely-
focus, so it doesn't bother you.
Nicely balanced.
I think it's the white balance is off a little bit.
Might be.
Looks like it might be just a little yellow.
I think she's got
Yeah.
two different lighting temperatures. If you look at the reflection of the bird, it's cooler, and if you look at the lighting on the spoons, it's warmer. So Debbie, make sure to keep an eye on your lighting. That's the hardest thing. Sometimes you just need to turn off all your lights and introduce same color temperature lights. But other than that, it's very interesting.
Or put it on automatic.
There you go.
I'd love to see a pie in the background since that's what this goes to.
That's right.
Check that metadata on there. See if it says something about the color balance on it.
1/25,
Bottom-
1600.
Bottom right, Chris.
Bottom right.
Keep going. Grab that little slidey thing and keep it going.
We're acting like a judge looking at
Yeah.
metadata.
Just what a lot of people complained about last time.
Looks
Well,
like
I'm
she did
stripping
use a
mine
flash.
out, okay, I'm stripping mine completely out. Okay, so the heck with them.
Change it to something really weird.
Like, what are you looking for? How's that? In the metadata.
Looks like she had a flash, so you might have some of the ambient light and the flash.
Canon EOS 7D.
Go up to your develop, Chris. And then white balance is shot. Click on that.
Yeah,
It's
put it
not
in
gonna say.
automatic.
Yeah, that looks better.
No.
Yeah, it's got a
No?
little blue to it, but what's the setting? Just bring it. Just with the setting.
I like the other
On
one.
the temperature, give it about a 25. Put it on about 25. Minus 25, I'm sorry. A little bit more. And then give it on the 10 on the bottom, go to the left. I'm sorry. Yeah. Go to the right just a little bit. The other way, I'm sorry, that way. Keep going, whoa, right there.
Yeah, now the blue areas are even bluer. It's just so difficult having warm and cool because there's no real happy medium. But I'll tell you
Put
what
it
you
on
could.
automatic. Hit
I'll tell you what
automatic
she could
again.
do anyway because there's not many colors anyway. I'd
Yeah.
send this one to black and white. I think that would be a
Oh, what you
strong
could
black
do-
and white.
What you could do is take that dropper right there and put it on that top white right there. Put it back to your color. And just put it right there on that top white. Yeah, hit it.
That's usually yellow, I
That's
think, on
terrible.
those birds.
Yeah, that's terrible. Oh,
I
well.
thought the way it was better.
Yeah, go back to
Yeah.
reset that
Just put it-
bottom right. There you go.
Let the artist be the artist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's good. Well done. And then Paul's cinnamon roll.
Oh, that goes with the bacon.
And the coffee.
I love the melty sugar. Ooh, and the cinnamon.
Paul, is this homemade? Is this something out of your grocer's freezer?
Is he still here?
I'm not sure if Paul's still here. I think he is. He was having a little bit of problems with his microphone. You want to try again, Paul?
He's got his mic off.
Yeah.
There he goes.
He's back now.
There he is.
I missed the question. What was that, Joe?
What is this? Is this homemade? Is this something that you bought at the grocery store and just warmed up?
I had some family members at Thanksgiving, excellent cooks and bakers and chefs, and this was one of their creations. Yeah,
Oh.
This was homemade cinnamon roll.
Nicely lit. I see. Looks like window light in the back left, and what's on the front right, lighting
I'm
wise?
trying to remember. I think I had some overhead lights on, and it was near a window. The light on the right is from the window, I believe.
That's great.
It gives the impression that it's warm too, that it's not just, I don't know, it just has a feeling to me that it's been heated and it's ready for me to grab and eat.
Mm-hmm.
Just missing a little coffee, you'll be good to go.
Nah, I'm not a coffee drinker.
Hot tea.
John mentioned-
Lewis has some comments.
Simple gold color and pointed. I think he was commenting on eyedroppering Debbie's pie
Yeah.
bird.
So
Yeah.
John mentioned earlier in the program that often food doesn't get actually eaten when it's used for food photography.
Mm-hmm.
As you'll see in the next picture, yeah, this one didn't actually get eaten, but the others were amazing.
Any other comments on this one before I go to the last
So I
one?
think what Lou was saying is it's a little hot in the bottom right, and he was suggesting using the eyedropper to sample the gold color.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we can leave that to the photographer there, Chris.
Okay. And then the last one is also Paul's. And this is Cinnamon Roll 2.
This one got a lot of votes too, didn't it?
Yes, this one was close,
Hmm.
but not. I think this one had 6 votes the last time I saw.
So I shot a whole series of photos where there was lots more drizzle coming in, and very quickly you couldn't tell what was in the glass.
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with. If I didn't know the name. And you didn't eat this? Why did you eat this?
My frosting recipe involved, apparently frosting is made with milk and confectioner sugar, but I didn't want to waste the milk, so I started making it with water and confectioner sugar. I didn't know how that would taste.
Lewis asks what the streak is at the top.
That is the frosting being dropped into the glass.
Adding extra frosting to the cinnamon roll.
Yeah. Probably have other photos where it just looks like a whole glass of frosting. And in the background, I had like a baking sheet as the background. I mean, it's very blurred out, but it seemed like it was the right color palette for this one.
Yeah, good simple background.
But the glass got dirty so quickly. And I feel like it would have taken hours to get this quite the way I wanted it.
Yeah, I can see the splotches on the front here, but still makes me think yummy and like ready to eat the cinnamon roll. Mary Lou over on Facebook says, very nice, yummy. I think that was to the first one, but same for this one. Any other comments?
I wonder if a spoon sticking out of that glass might be a little bit extra oomph. I'm not
I also
sure.
noticed how, like, with a reflective surface like this, like, it was very difficult to try to control the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I certainly didn't have the patience that day to try to block out some of the light shining on the glass from all the different angles.
Reflection is very difficult, and Mike does a lot of great stuff with reflections in glass bottles and stuff too. Typically, it needs a composite, but yeah, every light source goes crazy. It's difficult.
I never composite mine with glass.
You said you had a whiskey bottle that you said you had to do the label over top of it, didn't you? I mean, you don't do not all the time.
No, I had to lighten the label.
Oh, I thought you had to combine. I thought you had said
in Photoshop.
You put the label in afterwards. My mistake. I'm sorry.
Over in Facebook, Susan says, just add ice cream, and I'm sure it would have been edible.
Oh.
That does sound good. Excellent idea.
You
I think
could
I
have
probably
had.
would have eaten it. I just had several before that one.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay. And the winner for this week, as I said, was Fred's cleanup crew.
Congrats, Fred.
And
Thank you. Thank you much.
that's tonight's program.
So we don't have a challenge for December?
We do have a challenge for December, and it is, I'm sorry, I should have announced, anything to do with the holidays.
Can it be baking and cooking?
Could be baking, cooking, lights, Christmas trees, menorahs, anything to do with the holiday.
Great.
Is there a date on it?
I need them by, let me see. This is December
That's likely going to be the 30th, right?
by the 30th, probably. Well, yeah, by the 30th, so that the next week on the 6th. No, that's a contest, so we can't do one then. Oh, January 1st. No, we wouldn't
Hold
do
on a
it on
second.
the 1st.
Let me pull this up.
Sorry, my schedule's not right.
Well, you can send out an email.
Yeah, she'll
I'll
send
out
an email out. But even if
Well,
they're
It's a
My
Friday.
question wasn't the date. Does it matter when the picture was taken? That's what I meant to say. Last
We
50
ask
years,
that they're
or-
usually done during the holiday season, so
the spirit of the assignments, Fred, is you shoot from when you learn it, like right now. It's going to be something you shot in December.
Okay. Well, I didn't shoot that last one in December.
Yeah, it's
Last month, so-
we're
I
not that
didn't know.
picky about it.
Okay.
you're not
So
getting a
whatever we
solid
shoot-
gold camera for winning, so it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought I was going to get a free membership or something.
No, you get a nice shiny certificate that says
Oh, well,
congratulations.
thank you.
And Susan over in chat is asking what we are doing on December 16th. We
Susan-
are having a Facebook.
It's going to be streamed to Facebook, Susan. However, we're going to invite everyone to participate in a conference-style stream, just like the gentleman and lady that are sitting here on your screen. And if you have any ideas for any special programming, we may do a show and tell. We may do a just fun chat. We may just ask everyone to get an adult beverage of their choice and a tasty confectionery treat, and we just BS for the night. But if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see programming wise for that night, we are all ears, because unfortunately, when we had to cancel our in-person meeting, we're kind of at a loss on what to replace it with. So feel free to email me what you think.
I also want to get everyone's input on these photo assignments. Should we continue them into the new year, or should we come up with another idea? If you want another idea, please share them with me.
We only have 9 people left in the stream, just because we're a little bit at the end. But we have been having to twist arms to get people to submit the photo assignments. It was great over the summer, but during the actual club year, we've been having difficulty in getting enough entries in. So the thought is if we keep seeing low entries, we may replace the photo assignments with something else. So tell us what you want. Do you want photo assignments? Send in 3 for this month, and if we get a lot of entries in this month, that'll tell us yes or no, right?
Right.
There you go.
Mike said a couple of months back or a year back that what they do is in a photo contest following week, they talk about each one of the photos. Even though if you didn't have a winner or loser or whatever.
So that's over at the Bowie
Yeah, I used to
Bowie
like that.
contest.
I went to a lot of those, and I liked that discussion.
Yeah, the only rule is you're not allowed to bash the judge. You're just allowed to talk about the photos that were in the contest. Because during the contest, you're not allowed to talk. So.
Right.
And is that members? That's a members only conversation. A judge does not come back.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the judge isn't there. The members are you're getting a nice variety of opinions. Where a judge might like this and not like that, you'll have a different split amongst members. Some who, different opinions.
That's why I usually tell people, at least winners, I want winners to make sure they post their images on Facebook and tell us about it, because that replaces our in-person meetings where somebody can say, okay, first place is this person, tell us about your image. We have toyed with the idea of making a gallery, but we feel that may be a little bit too much work on Lewis, just making an entire gallery so that people can talk. But that's an interesting thought. It's definitely something to think about.
Also, Mike, do they discuss how they made the photo? Do they do that in there?
They certainly can.
No, I mean, do they do it?
Some do, some don't, is what I remember.
Or the technique, like if somebody has something, so, well, I did it like this and like that, or, what lens I use and why I used that lens.
Yeah, you can do that.
My problem for some of this is the contests are usually later in the month, and the weeks we've been doing this is the first week of the month. So
Just
week of the next month.
Yeah, just take the following month or something.
we could do that.
Yeah.
Since we have for the first week in January, we already can do the December photo assignment, and then starting in February, we can just discuss the January contest. We can do that.
We'll see. Let's see if people decide to submit some good stuff to this new one coming up, and see if they vote with their submissions, that they want to keep it or not. Send that an email as well, and if we need to fill the extra space, we'll fill it with something like that. Otherwise, maybe I don't know what else we can do, but I definitely like the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets you spending the time not just discussing, these nice photos that we make of food and holidays and whatever, but the ones that you actually put the time in for the competition, and you get a little more feedback. You get a wider variety of feedback and you don't know who's going to make the comment that clicks and makes you say, oh, yes.
There you go.
I know how to make that better.
Or do you think we ought to get the ones that didn't get first, second, third, or fourth?
Well, that's especially they did them all in Bowie, right? Or was it just the ones that didn't place?
No, it was all.
It was all of them. They just did all the entries.
Oh,
Makes
that's
sense.
a good idea. Then everybody gets to talk about their picture,
Yes.
and they can ask why they did it. Yeah,
And yeah, it's especially the ones that didn't get prizes that, maybe a judge didn't like this or that, and other people say, well, actually, I like that.
Yeah.
I like
was
it because
very tempting to say, oh, the judge something,
Mhm.
which always got shouted down.
well, I like the rule that Mike said that you can't say anything about the judge. Okay.
I like it because it gives people, some people that we may not see normally in these conferences or streams, or maybe even in the Facebook, it gives people a reason to join in and they can speak about something.
Well, going back to last one, I'm going to strip the metadata out of my pictures. Okay, where he can't see it.
Well, that's your choice. We've had a lot of discussion about this, and thankfully a good judge is not going to judge a photo only on metadata. But I feel that especially for our more novice users, I feel that the judges have given very good information, especially like, okay, well, this image seems a little blurry, which is going to get thrown out anyway. Let's go into the metadata and see if we can't, give some information to why that might be. So while the judges, we've had 2 judges that have looked at the metadata, and sometimes they get it wrong, but I feel that they've gotten a lot more right, and I thought that it was a good learning opportunity. But I do think we need to reiterate to judges, look, you're really judging a split reaction decision on whether an image is in or out via the aesthetics, the soul, what you thought about it. And then if you want to give somebody some information, hey, it looks blurry. Hey, if you took it down to a smaller aperture, you've had larger depth of field. So I don't know. It's something we're currently discussing throughout the officers of the club because. Yeah.
Well, what kind of got me was he looked at somebody's lens and said something about that lens, and then he picked something that because it was underwater or something of that nature, and he looked at what kind of camera it was. He looked at what kind of lens it was, and I think that's BS. And I'm just telling you like it is.
Hey, everybody, that's why we want to hear everybody's opinion.
How do you strip the metadata out?
It's very easy. All you do is just put it up on the line, and put it online, and get a program. The program that's online, it'll strip it for you, and it'll come back without it.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up.
I think there's
Do
a way.
it in
Windows,
Lightroom.
In Windows, you can just right click on the image and delete it.
Yeah, I would be worried about uploading my image somewhere that they would do something to it and then give you a download back. But absolutely in Windows you can.
You put it side by side. Okay. The one I stripped out online was I did it on 1024, and that's the one I stripped the thing out on. And then I compared it to my 1024, and then I compared it to the real image, and I could see that nothing happened.
I was more worried about my image being somewhere, so I'd rather do it locally. Like Mike said, you can do it in Windows. Lightroom export's got an easy way to not send the metadata out, and I'm sure Mac's got a program that's easy as well.
I'll look.
Yeah.
Mike, explain that one again, because he's got a point. I mean, I don't want to do it, but I do it.
On Windows, I think you can right click on an image and bring up its properties and look at the EXIF data. And I believe you can delete the EXIF data from that panel in Windows 10.
Right. If you go to properties, details, and then it's on the bottom, like Mike said, remove properties and personal information, it'll make you a copy that has all that stuff stripped out.
That's great, because I was putting it up online and using their annex something and then it rewrote it. Gotcha. I'll definitely check it out. But like I say, I'm going to pull it out, pull the metadata out, because I just don't want them looking at it.
For
he looked at
Lightroom,
my picture and he said something about the 46 millimeter, and he didn't know what he was talking about, in my opinion.
for Lightroom, if you do the export option in the middle, there's a section that says metadata, and you can put copyright only, copyright and contact only, all except camera raw, all except camera and camera raw and all metadata. So I always usually include all metadata, but I can make it that it's only copyright, so it's only my name. But those are all options in Lightroom.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and close the meeting? Everybody, if you want to stick around for a little bit here in the conference area, we can have a little bit of chat. But let's close the meeting out. Christine, what do we have coming up in the next few weeks?
We have the contest next week for contest next week for our digital contest for monochrome and color prints.
Okay, hold on a sec. That's actually going to be digital color and digital monochrome, and that is going to be on the theme of leading lines. Check out an email that will be coming out pretty soon from Lewis, our contest chair, and that will give you all the rules, all the information, and the deadline. Make sure that you're sizing and doing everything correctly. We've actually been very lucky with everybody, doing the right size. If you have any questions on that, reach out to either Lewis at contest@arundelcameraclub.org or ask any of the admins on the Facebook page. Now, what do we have on the 16th, Christine?
We have our holiday party conference stream.
Okay.
And then we have no meeting on the 23rd or the 30th due to Christmas and then New Year's.
We may send a feeler out to see if people want to kind of do a conference in between Christmas and New Year's as well, and see if we have any information, any interest. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Goodbye.